And we're back. You know, I slept in a little bit this morning, right? Got up around like 9. And then as soon as I get up, they're going to rush this dude. They're going to hit this dude with a knife. And it's this little motherfucker. I'm pretty sure I know who it is, right? And he tries to sound evil. He already looks like a piece of shit, right? But then he tries to sound evil. And it's just like, you are a fucking joke, dude. And were you waiting all morning for me to get up? Fucking tweaker. It's a way to spend your Sundays, huh? But anyway, but it brought back some more things that, I remembered them saying, right? Uh, one of them being, they say he slits his wrists. I don't have any. That's why he wears the gloves, right? I don't have any slits on my wrists. Um, but they did that like daily. That's why he wears the gloves. I got these gloves I wear for riding, right? And to cover him up because he slits his wrists, right? Oh my God, they did that for like a year. Then and they'd follow up with, they say he kills kids, which I might have said that before, but in one of the previous videos, but it was around the same time that they would say that, right? And then they would say they say he's a priest, right? And it's just in the way they say it, and by the way, add a little bit of an effeminate tone to that. It does sound more like a female or like a 15-year-old boy. I don't know, but the little bitch likes to sound evil. And then after a while, and they'd start doing that. They want us to self-destruct this dude. We hope he slits his wrists, right? Shit like that, and it's just like, oh my God, right? And and then they would follow up with, they say he was a Marine. He doesn't know who he is, right? He was in Iraq, right? And then this is where another reason where that it's a scam, right? He's a ghost in the shell, is what the white people would say. And then the black dude would say, they want a ghost in the shell, this dude. Right? Right? Okay. So they both get a list of one-liners, and then these people they'll say them a little bit different. That's what gives it away. Um anyway, he doesn't remember who he is. There's something wrong with his head, right? But it's just always the same bullshit. And so, I concluded, I don't know if I said this in the previous video, but I think what happened is there's this paid group to go after squatters, to harass squatters out of their property, out of the properties they're squatting on, right? And for some reason, I'm pretty sure I know who it was, um, but it could have been a handful of people because the neighborhood, for some reason, felt that I was suddenly an undesirable. You know, I must have been some sort of, hiccup or speed bump in their operation because, again, there's certain things where if you're paying attention, you're like, wow, who's proliferating this? Who's propagating this? Right? All of a sudden, money's coming in. All of a sudden, other things just thriving a little bit more, right? But whatever. Um, and so somehow I got deemed a squatter. It's not his house, right? And it's like, yeah, the house is in a trust, but at the end of the day, I've been here my whole fucking life, and ironically, coincidentally, conveniently, half of my neighbors, people that, yeah, we got along great. And then all of a sudden, all around the same time, all of a sudden, they all ghosted me. All of them didn't know me anymore. All of a sudden, the establishment, this, right? And it got to the point where it was like, oh, okay, these motherfuckers want to work me out of the neighborhood. Wow, right? I've been on this street longer than anyone. All of a sudden, I gotta go. Fucking coincidental, you know what I'm saying? But and so the theory is that this squatter group that usually they go around harassing squatters, somebody put them on me, and but somebody knew that I was the homeowner, and something tells me that eventually these people knew I was the homeowner as well, and then word is they went all in. right? And so I started thinking, because I started looking up, instances of auditory harassment, right? Digital harassment. And it has spiked. Sacramento alone has like 3 million reports. California has like upwards of like 15 to 20 million sudden reports of auditory harassment. That's not some rise of people all of a sudden undergoing, schizophrenic episodes. That's a coordinated racket right there. It's a real estate scam. They're out here going after people, mortgage owners, payers, right? Homeowners. And whether it's for them to hurry up and sell and they take a huge cut in equity, they take a loss. Um, do they specifically target people with open permits so that these investors can come in and lowball them? Do they specifically target people that are on a registry? Um, but it went from, okay, this is a good thing, targeting squatters, to now we're targeting the money, right? And I'm pretty sure that's why the the crews would change. They would swap them out. You could hear a total different people, different way of saying things, different voices, and then it got to the point where some of them had their own little twist. They would say things their own little way. And but the black guy, he's been consistent. That's the one that they want me to witness this dude, whatever the fuck that means, right? But he's been consistent for 3 fucking years, right? And some of these other ones though, I haven't heard the Hicks as much. I haven't heard the evil kids as much. I haven't heard the cops as much. Were they cops or feds? I don't know. I mean, they were a bit more astute with the way that But at the end of the day, that's just another reminder of some of the shit they used to say, some of the stuff they still say. And but what brought that back? I mean, again, those are all new one-liners right there, and I'm sure I'll think of some more, because you got to think about it. 3 years of this shit, 3 years of it, and they would switch it out. And again, and I'm telling you, this is a list they use. I bet you, if you go find somebody now nobody really cares about the squatters, right? But I bet you there's other homeowners that have been targeted, and I bet you that one of these lines, they'll be like, yeah, they said that shit to me, right? But they got convinced by the mobile crisis unit and the sheriffs and everybody playing that he flipped his lid game, that it was in their head. They got convinced to go see a therapist and get assessed and, undergo some sort of psychological evaluation. Because again, this is a very, very intricate little scheme they got going on. And the way they do, I think somebody said something about they're using harmonics, right? Somehow they hit the walls. That's why, with an audio cannon or something, they use something to where it reverberates through the walls. And if you look at it, oh, that sounds nuts. We're not talking to you. You're obviously playing Jane. Just shut up, right? But for the people that are like, yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. So if you got money and you're not, Mr. Popular, and all of a sudden you start getting harassed like this, first thing to do is think about who is the immediate beneficiary, who benefits from you getting put under some sort of conservatorship, right? And see if they start acting funny. See if all of a sudden, yeah, he's always kind of been, like my mom would say, all of a sudden I lack the capacity. She used to brag to everybody about, oh, my son speaks Chinese and he can do this and he can do that. And all of a sudden I lack the capacity to even take some photographs and list things on eBay, right? And it was all around the same time. So can't trust anybody, can you?